Whew. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. For those of you who've actually been waiting for this live to come on, guys, technical difficulties. We're trying to get everything together. Did not know exactly what to do because the invited guest, was trying to get everything in since 11:30. We were trying to get in, but for some reason, technical difficulties got the best of us. And but we did not give up because when it comes to message like this, we have to put it out there. You know what I mean? People have to hear things like that. I really appreciate those of you who've been checking the channel to see if we're alive. Finally, we are live. We are live now. For those of you who've been supporting the channel, guys, thank you so very much for supporting the channel, helping us reach the numbers that we are reaching every day. For the views, everything that you do to support the channel, continue to do it because we really appreciate everything that you do. And if you are new around, if this is your very first time, I know this is not a good first impression, but we are still trying to do our best to provide the best of advice when it comes to relationships and helping you guys understand what it means to be in a relationship before getting in a relationship. And as we've already told you, we have our invited guest, Capri, which is also AKA You Are Not Alone Voices. Was it Capri is someone who's been talking about the things that she's been through, and she realized that there are a lot more people that are dealing with probably the exact same thing, or if not worse. So now we're gonna bring Capri to the stage and start the video the way it was supposed to an hour ago. But unfortunately, like I said, we had technical difficulties. Thanks for being here, and let's go ahead and bring Capri to the.
Hello.
Hey, hey, how's it going, Capri?
It's going good.
I
Going
was just telling
good.
the folks that we were dealing with some technical difficulties. We're trying to get
Yes.
everything situated, and but we did
Yes.
not give up because that's the main thing. For stories like yours,
Yeah.
a lot of people need to hear it. How you doing today?
Doing well. It's most important never to give up. Never give up. So yes, I'm glad to be here.
Um, there's there's something that we're talking about, and I wanted you to introduce yourself to the audience as far as knowing exactly a little bit of who you are as far as the background and the message that you're trying to give for us today. Who's Capri? Who's AKA You Are Not Alone Voices?
Well, I go by Lady Capri. Um, I am first and foremost, I am a survivor. I am a mother of three. I am a grandmother to eight, now seven. I have a granddaughter that is in heaven. Um, I am a Christian. I'm first and foremost a woman that is not perfect, but I'm someone who loves God and just someone who is trying to help others through the things that I've gone through. That's me. That's who I am. I'm Lady Capri.
So why do you think the things that you went through are so important for the world to hear it? Like what gives you that idea?
It's things that we've gone through, well, things that I've gone through, because I can only speak for myself. Things that I've gone through that we in the Black community we like to keep quiet and that we don't talk about. Things that our grandmothers, great grandmothers, things that we like to keep unspoken in the house. But it's time to break the silence and talk about these things so that we can begin healing. Because if not, they become a repeated cycle, and they they grow into the community. It tends to flow from the house into the community, and it flows down through generations. So it's time to talk about these things so that we can begin healing. And I just want to talk about the things that I've gone through, and I only speak from what I've gone through in order to help someone else in order to help someone or many people to get their healing through the breakthrough of what I've gone through.
Um, let's get right into it. When you're saying things that you've been through, from
Yeah.
foundation until now,
Mm-hmm.
what has been going on from childhood to relationship abuse that you've dealt with to the point of becoming a survivor, a warrior, and to become Lady Capri that you are right now?
The things that made me what I am when I was a child, to get right into it, I was molested when I was 10. And it didn't just stop there. Once I got molested, I was it happened for almost a whole year. A whole year. And it was by a family member. And from
Family member.
that, yeah, it was a family member. Um, when it first happened, I wasn't believed. Wasn't believed. Um, and it hurted. Um, when that happened, actually, the first time it happened, I'm just gonna say this. It was my mother's boyfriend. He did it. He did it, and she didn't believe me.
So, so you telling me that by the
She did
time
not
that
believe
happened,
me.
you reached out for help and to from your mother, but you did not get the help that you were looking for.
No, I didn't get the help. And what it did, it put a feeling in me that made me promiscuous. Well, not right off. What it did, it put a feeling in me. I didn't know what that urge was doing. Um, I thought I was peeing on myself, but actually it was to be very open, I was having an orgasm. Didn't know it. And I'm 10.
Yeah.
Right after that, I began my cycle. Um, Shortly after that, I got molested again by a family member. He was an uncle, and that went on for almost a year. By the time that was called, it was too late because we was told not to let him in the house. So it was too late then because he had done what he done. Um, from those two incidents, it made me, it put a feeling in me that I began to be promiscuous. Started to seek out that little feeling that was placed inside me.
Let me. This is
Um,
the thing, and I know how difficult it must be to be going through this. Now that you're thinking about it, maybe back in the days when you first started, the fact
yeah,
that you were searching that feeling again, it's like a drug. You don't know anything about it. Somebody
no,
took advantage of you. They put you in that position. You don't know what
yeah,
to do with it, but for some reason, you're still looking for it. But the worst thing
mm-hmm,
about it is, within that entire time, from your mom's boyfriend to your uncle, who was there other than your mom? Because you already said that your mom was not any help, or rather, she didn't believe you, or she believed you, or she decided not to do anything about it.
I don't know if she blocked it out or what, but it didn't go nowhere. It didn't go anywhere. And it
With
was a
being
hurtful
molested.
thing. It didn't go anywhere. It was a hurtful thing, and I felt alone. I felt alone, and he came around a few more times after that. Then after that, we didn't see him anymore. But I felt alone, and after a while, when the uncle did it, it was we no longer could let him in the house. But by then, it was too late.
Yeah,
He had done did what he did. So and it was, oh God, that was the most gross. It was just humiliating.
yeah, of
It was
course.
humiliating. It was gross. Um, when he um when he later passed, um, I hate to say it, but when he died, I literally walked up to the casket and shook it just to make sure that he was in there. And I think I was 12 when he passed.
That's crazy.
But that was it was a relief, when he died.
Yeah, I
But
understand.
after that, by then, I was promiscuous. I mean, to be such at a young age,
Yeah.
promiscuous. But my older family members looked at me. Oh, she grown. The word was fast. The older
Yeah.
folks back then, they used the word fast. Oh, she fast. Look at her fast tail. But nobody wanted to sit down and ask, why you so fast? Why you so grown? What's wrong with you? But
Yeah.
instead, they sat back and they talked about you instead
Even
of
your
wondering,
mother, this is the thing. And that's why I call this what if your parents were just as broken as you are? Like, what happened to your mom to the point where she was okay? What happened with your dad to the point where you didn't have any security? Because you already said multiple
and my
times that your
dad
mom
wasn't
did
even
not help.
around.
That was not
My
around.
dad wasn't even around. My dad left. He left when I was 10. Him and my mom, no, he left. Oh my gosh. Him and my mom separated when I was 7 because I grew up in Denver. Him and my mom flew back here and he stayed up there. We stayed down here. So um, she moved. She was a single parent, just me and her and my sister. So I didn't get to see my dad again until I was 20. So for that long period of time, no, let me backtrack again. Her and my dad remarried again when I was 10, but the marriage didn't even last a year. So he left again. He left again. So when this happened to me, it was like boom.
Yeah. With
It
everything
was
going
all
on in your
fast.
life.
So I think my mom was going through something from the divorce to where she wasn't even focusing on us. So I think she was going through something of her own in her own mind to where she probably couldn't focus on me and my sister.
That's
So
the problem because sometimes parents do not see, but it's crazy to me because I have a son and
mhm.
the level of security that I'm willing to go the extra mile to provide for to my son is because I do not, unfortunately, I do not ever want to hear stories like that coming out of his mouth because this is my job to protect him.
Right.
And people who've been through this, I understand the amount of damage, they were dealing with, the amount of things that they were going through until they, especially for those who have not been able to open their mouth to voice their pain. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
They're still going through it. So and that's why I think it's important, despite how broken you are as a parent, you have to understand when your
Yeah.
child needs you, especially in your situation, because your dad wasn't around. She
No.
ended up having a boyfriend who basically took complete advantage of you sexually, and she didn't seem to do anything about it. And that definitely puts you in a different position to basically understand that you are insecure, and therefore you are willing to do whatever you have to do to keep yourself safe. If
Mhm.
I tell my mom something like that, I would expect her to go crazy as far as, yo, what happened? Let me go to that guy. Let me see what's going on. What is it that we have to do to make it happen? So now fast forward to you having to deal with an uncle now, going doing those things to you. You know what I mean? And society already judging you as far as calling you fast tail and all that crazy stuff. What exactly did that do to you when it comes to your real first relationship? What happened?
Oh my gosh. Um, I lost my virginity when I was 11. Um, I had poor choices when it comes to picking out men. Um, I started looking at, first of all, I think I probably was the only girl. No, I think I've seen some other ones too, but for me, when most of my friends and my classmates were dating guys their age, being that it was older men that was molesting me, I was dating older men. I was dating older men. And subconsciously that's what I was doing. Didn't realize it, but it was like I had a thing for older men.
Yeah.
So my choices, they were poor, very poor
In what sense?
in dating older men. So I was looking for men to provide for me, take care of me, or seeing what they, could do for me. And oh my gosh,
Take your time.
it was
Take your time.
it was awful.
It was awful.
It was awful. Um, in the beginning, I wasn't picking ones that were abusive to me, but it was the point that they was, giving me money, taking care of me, and then I had to hide the fact that I was getting money from
Yeah.
these men from my mom because of how old I was.
Yeah.
I wasn't even 15 and was
Wow.
getting money. I still
And
went to church. I would leave church early to go be with these men. My mom didn't even have a clue.
so why within that entire time, what was going through your mind? Like, what exactly were you trying to accomplish? Because you're not even 15. You've already dealt with so much. Going to mommy, she's not helping. Daddy's not around. You're dating older men, basically a sense of security. You're trying to find somebody who's basically like your dad. That's what it usually be. And
Yeah.
what was going through your mind? Why were you going through that path while you were still living at home?
To me, by that time, it felt like survival because my mom, I think she felt, angry, for what she had done gone through. Um, I still don't know where her mind was. With what me and my sister was going, with what she was going through at the time. But to me, it just felt like survival because um, I got pregnant when I was 12 and a half, going on 13, from an older guy. I got pregnant and she wasn't paying any attention.
So she
And
didn't even
for
know.
her, she didn't know. And I felt, to me, I felt, she said she didn't know, but I felt she did know, being that she was my mother and she provided all of my personal hygiene. And she knew when my cycle was coming. So she knew, she would always ask, um, it's about time for your cycle to come on, right? Because she taught us how to mark down on the calendar every 28 days to 30 days, your cycle will come on. So my days was just going. It was like 34, 35, 50, 60,
So she
70,
had an
80.
idea as far as what's there and what's
So I
not
know
there.
she had to know something because I wasn't going to her to like, Mom, I need some,
Yeah, yeah.
personal hygiene. So I wasn't asking her for it. So I knew she knew something. And for me at that time, I was slim, but I was thick and I didn't have any stomach. So
Okay.
my aunt, who was old school, she went and told her. She called my mom by her nickname. She said, that child pregnant. She said, because her breast getting full of milk. And my mom was like, no, she not. No, she not. She was like, yes, she is. She said, that child right there pregnant. So by that time, I was going into my second trimester. My baby
Jesus
was
Christ.
moving, flipping. I could feel my baby moving and everything. She still would not pay any attention to me until later on she attempted to call the police on my child's father. And I told her, don't do that, when she finally owned up to what I was going through. I said, don't do that. I said, because how can he take care of my baby and he's locked up? So she said, she yelled at me, she cursed at me, and she was real angry. She was very angry towards me. So she was like, just threw her hands up, said she didn't care, which I already felt by then,
You
she
think she was
didn't.
angry? she was angry over the fact that you got pregnant at such a young age, or she was angry because she was more worried about things that were going through her head without paying attention to the things that you were going
That's
through.
what I think it was, because she wasn't paying attention. She wasn't.
She
So
was
I
more
think she was more,
disappointed to her teacher.
yeah, I think that's what she was more angry at. But by that time, we had got into, I want to say, an argument, because again, I was still being promiscuous,
Yeah.
very promiscuous. And we had got into it, and I was seeing somebody else, and I wasn't supposed to have that
Pregnant.
person around. Yeah, I was pregnant, but I wasn't seeing the guy who I was pregnant from. But it's hard for me to say this, but I was really going through something. And at that time, this is my first time saying this out loud. Oh
Time.
gosh.
Take your time. Take your time.
I had I had I had I attempted to kill myself. So because I felt that there was a lot going on. I felt that she didn't care.
Yeah. You didn't
And
feel like you have nobody to see
yeah,
you.
I didn't have at that time I didn't have nobody.
Yeah.
Um I didn't have nobody. Not knowing that she was going through what she was going through mentally,
Yeah.
because she was in, you know, in her head, in her own space. And here I am, um 13 years old, pregnant, um going through it, holding all this in. Um Child's father, I was 13. He was 19, going on 20. I was really going through it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was lost. I felt alone. So I attempted to kill myself. The most that the pills did to me was they put me to sleep. And when I came to, um I didn't feel my baby moving no more. I didn't feel it. And a few days later, I started having these contractions.
Okay.
Started I didn't realize that they was contractions because of course I was young. I didn't, you know what none of that was. Um Wound up having my baby at home.
Wow.
And I still thank God to this day that it didn't kill me, it didn't hurt me, because I never sought medical attention after that. But I had my baby at home, sitting on the toilet.
That was your first baby.
Yeah, that was my first one. I stayed in the bathroom for like 3 hours because I was home by myself, and just looked at it. And of course I could tell, what sex of the baby it was, because I knew that much from being in school.
Yeah.
And saw that it was a girl.
Wow.
And
First
I just
daughter.
sat there. Yeah. And I cried and I prayed and I cried and I prayed. When it came out, it was, it was everything came out, sack, everything. So my body was still preserved to where I didn't have no damage to my body. Let me just say that because I don't want to go into graphic detail. But just to fast forward past that, I got up, took a shower. And later that night I had to go to my grandmother's church because I had to sing. So I went and sang later that day to get through that. And it was hard. It was hard. It was hard. And then
I'm very sorry that you went through all this, and
mhm,
I cannot imagine. I'm never going to be able to express feelings when it comes to things like that. But around that time, when all of this happened, you were still alone. Mommy wasn't around,
mm-mm,
baby daddy wasn't around, her father wasn't around, whoever that you were talking to, they still weren't around.
mm-mm. Still had to go to school, still went to church. So it really did something to me psychologically,
Yes,
mentally and psychologically and emotionally. And I
emotionally.
had to carry that. I had to carry that with me. So it really did something to me.
And at that
It
time, you were
really did
13.
something to me. 13. And then not long after that, it seemed like it felt like I was cursed because right after that, I was 14, I got raped. And I got raped violently by someone we
Okay.
considered who was family.
Okay. This is Lady Capri. How are you still standing?
All I can say is nobody but God. When people look at me, they don't know what Jesus, nobody knows what I've been through. I don't look like what I've been through. When people see
You
me,
look I- because from getting molested between 8 and 10 by your mom's boyfriend to a family member, your own uncle, to getting pregnant between 13 and 12, and fast forward to 14, right? You got raped again?
yep, violently raped. Violently,
Nice.
violently. And me and him grew up from the dirt, from the playground, having crowd boils together, birthday parties. He said he looked at me and he saw me filling out, saw me getting thick. And he said he got tired of playing cousin, and he wanted me. And he took his belt off like I thought he was gonna beat me. And he just jumped on me and
This
raped me.
person, who this person was? Was it a friend of the family,
Yeah.
or
A, when I say close friend of the family, it was
Mhm.
like we called them cousins.
Okay.
Because that's how close we were. His mom, my aunt. I mean, that's how close we were.
And
That's how
within
close we
that
were.
path, you don't know anything about healing. Basically, nobody ever told you anything about healing. You don't have time to
Nobody
heal
told
because
me anything. The only thing that I knew, because, excuse me, because it was instilled in me, and because I discovered that I had a gift of singing, all I knew was to sing and to call on the name of Jesus. That's the only thing that I knew. And that's the only thing that would carry me and heal me. That's the only thing, because I know that God heals a broken, and a contrite heart. So that's the only thing that I knew. I knew that I had a broken and a contrite heart, and I knew that God was going to heal me. I know that He'll never leave you, He'll never forsake you. So I knew that He was always with me. So that's the only thing I knew.
So within that entire time, the only person, the only way you would find comfort is by singing and praying God. And now you have a child, you're still going to school, you just recently got raped, on top of everything that have already happened. Where's your mother around that time still?
Um, my cousin talked me into telling her. She was like, "You got proof," because I had my underwear that he ripped, and of course, I had the blood in it. She said, "Show her," and I showed it to her. Um, she went, to his home. Of course, I bit him, so that was proof. She seen him. She seen where I bit him. Um, she notified them, let them know we was gonna press charges. But he went back and said that I approached him and that he was just being a man and doing what a man would do. So of course, when she got home, she said that my story wasn't right. I'll never forget what she said. She said something in the milk ain't clean.
So
I'll never forget it because that hurt it. That hurt it. And I'll never forget the day that I was raped. Because from that day, it was 5 months. Because when he did it, I like to say he gave me something that I didn't leave home with. So that was brewing inside me. And for me being such a young age, it's not like now a child can go to the doctor without a parent.
yeah,
Back then, you couldn't go to the doctor without a parent.
yeah.
So um, I needed my parent to take me to the doctor. And I never got to the doctor to get the proper medical attention. So my insides weren't proper when I finally got the medical attention. So it was looking kind of ugly. So by the time I got the medical attention that I needed, I didn't think I was going to be able to carry a child. So when I did get pregnant with my second child, which is now my firstborn, I had difficulty carrying him to term. But I did successfully carry him because I was having what you call placenta previa, where the sac separates from the uterus. And I did that in my second trimester. I was exactly 5 months, which I was exactly 5 months when I miscarried my first child. So I prayed and I prayed hard over my stomach. And the people told me, they said, it's not you. They said, it's your womb. You never carried a baby this far. So I'm grateful. And now my son, he's going on 32. He's going on 32. So I have a total of 3 kids. He's 30, going on 32. My daughter's going on 30. And my youngest son is going on 27. So I'm grateful for my kids that I have.
So okay. So this entire time, this is what's troubling me right now. So many people got into your life, basically destroyed everything that you have when it comes to kids.
Hmm.
You don't have no security. Every time it's time for your mother to come through, she did not come through. She basically literally had you standing there by yourself, trying to understand things that you basically couldn't understand around the age that you were dealing with those things.
Hmm.
Um, Now you got raped, and that basically damaged you physically, on top of the mental situations, mental distress, mental problems, mental
Hmm.
baggage that you've already had from everything that have happened to you.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have two child. At that point, you had two child. The first one was no longer with us, right?
Right.
And the one who becomes the first one um, from everything that happened. So moving forward with everything that happened, your mom never had the conversation to tell you to help you understand that you're gonna have to change your ways, or we're gonna have to get you therapy, or you need to be careful. What is it? What's the talk? Like, where's your dad around that time? Or basically, you said your dad got back in
Um,
until 20.
my dad was he was gone. He was gone. Um, he was on the other side of the country. He was on the other side. Um, I would hear about where he was. I would um I would go visit my grandmother. Oh God rest her soul. And I would sneak and get his address or his phone number from off of her notepad that she would keep on the side of her next to her telephone. I would write it on a paper towel, ball it up, and sneak it out the house. And then I would call him or write him, but all the letters would come back return to sender. Or if I would call, they would hang up. But then that was hurtful. That was hurtful because all I wanted was my daddy. But my mom did start seeing someone that she got engaged to that became a father figure in my life. My stepfather. At first we didn't see eye to eye,
Okay.
but later, oh my gosh, he taught me everything that a father would teach a daughter on how to protect herself in her home, how to look out for certain things in men. Um, he taught me how to protect myself, walking the street. Um, he taught me some good things, and I instilled those things, in my life. And then it wasn't just him; it was his mother, his sisters, and they loved on us just like we were their family. And
Around that time, what age were you?
I was 16, 17. Yeah, around 16, 17, 18. Because a lot of things that they taught me, it helped me when I gave birth to my first son. Because a lot of things I didn't know. And of course my mother didn't know these things. So they helped me with a lot of things that helped me out. Like when I gave birth to my first son, he would cry all night. And they taught me put some cereal in his milk, and that will help him sleep all night. Just put a teaspoon of cereal in there because he would keep me up all night. And once I put that cereal in his milk, he slept all night. And of course, I would sing to him, so that helped him too. But it was just those little simple things that helped me.
So
And
basically, what you're
I
saying
was
is,
grateful for that family.
you finally got help all the way by 18.
Yes.
A little bit of help, understanding
Mm-hmm.
what is it that you're doing all the way by 18.
Yep.
Now that now, can you imagine how crazy this is? Now that you're basically saying it out loud, with
Mm-hmm.
everything that you've been through, you're finally getting some help from somebody who you didn't even know existed, and this person is basically trying to help you out. The group of people that you just find yourself becoming family with, they're the one helping you out. And still within that time, what's your healing process? What was it? Do you still have those things packed in, or do what was it any healing so far?
Now I do want to say this. Now, from birth, I never want to let this go without me saying I did have my godparents. My godparents was the greatest influence in my life because they were like my mother and my father. And me and my sister, we were christened to them, and they had a strong foundation in the church. But it was like me and my sister would have to sneak and go to them behind my
Right.
mother's back. So they were, oh my gosh, they were a strong foundation. So a lot of things, that's where my real root of my church background comes from. My nurturing background comes from them. So that helped a lot. That helped a lot. So that's what kept me from falling back and slipping mentally through everything that I went through. So let me say that. But it was hard. It was hard for
It is
everything
hard.
that
It
I gone
sounds
through.
hard. Even saying it right now, I will never be able to express feelings to describe what you went through. Like it's
Yeah.
unbelievable. Hearing you saying it, and I don't even know what to say. So now that you're 18, you have two kids around that time.
No, I
You
have, yeah,
finally
I had two
getting
kids. Yeah.
you finally getting a glimpse of help. You don't know anything about healing yet. You still have all the things that have happened to you. What's next? What happened next?
I got in my first bad relationship. Um well, I got him with my son's father. He left and went in the military. So that left me to raise my son by myself.
Okay.
If it wasn't for his father and his stepmother, that was a real great support. Oh, God rest their soul. That was a great support right there. So I'm very grateful for them helping me. Um, I bounced around a lot. I bounced around a lot. When I say from pillar to post, I bounced around a lot. So I had gained a lot of support from different friends. Friends to even this day that they may not know it, but they really made a impact on my life to
Okay.
the woman that I am today.
Okay.
They really made an impact to the woman that I am today because they helped me, especially with my sister-in-law, my son's aunt. She she helped she helped a great deal. She helped a great deal because at one point I found myself living in one place, my son was in another place. So she was helping me raise my son, and in that, me saying that, I wound up staying with my daughter's father, and that's how I met him. And that relationship, that he was older, and that relationship was violent.
So what age was that when you finally get in the
I was 19. I was 19.
okay.
I was 19 and he was 11 years older than me.
So
So
within this
that was
entire time, anybody that you dated, due to the things that have happened in your past, they were older.
older. And when I was with him, that's when I really found myself trying to force myself to being in a relationship. And I really, when I look back at the pictures that we took, I found myself looking for my daddy, not even knowing that that's what I was doing,
That's
looking
what
for
it
my
is.
daddy. And yes, and I mean, I had my son, I had my daughter. I had my daughter when I was 20, and I found myself looking at the pictures, and it was like I could see my mom, I could see myself, I could see my two kids, but the relationship, it was like it was volatile. We was always arguing, we was fighting. He had an addiction. I was loving that he was taking care of me and that the money that I had, it was mine. but it was volatile, it was toxic. It was
It's
very
toxic.
toxic, very toxic. And it was hard to stay in that, and I had to leave that. I mean, I stuck in that for 6 years. I stuck in it for 6 years, and in the end, I wound up losing my daughter. I wound up
It's
losing my daughter.
unfortunate.
Yeah, I lost my daughter.
I Every step of the way, you've got lots of unfortunate events. And around that time, you were like 25, 26.
Yes, yes, I was. And by the time I was 25, I dated someone that I grew up with, went to school with, knew in the neighborhood. He helped me with my kids, helped me clean up my house, wash my dishes, even helped me put my kids on their breathing machines because my kids, they're asthmatic. Um, I moved from one city to another, saw him again, let him in my house. Didn't think nothing about letting him in my house. Um, let him in. At the age of 25, I got raped again, violently by this one. He wouldn't take no for an answer. And he raped me for over 2 hours. Because I remember looking at the time on the cable box.
Pause,
And,
pause, pause. So, okay, this is a constant circle, right? You
yes.
Now that you are older, you were 26, 25, you have two kids, you, you're not healed yet. That's why basically you couldn't see the red flags and the things to understand this is not the type of guy you're supposed to be with.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, again, you got into that same situation. So what did you do from that point? Like, what did you do to that person?
He left so fast when he left my house. I he left his underwear. So I took him to the police station and attempted to press charges. Gave them all his information. So they was looking for him. He left town, but they later caught him. He did serve 10 years. I don't know if he served 10 years for me or someone else, but I was happy that he served those 10 years. I later started working with his wife. Somehow she knew who I was, and she questioned me about what happened. And I was straightforward with her. And I told her, I said, just know that, what your husband did, it's true. And I'm the one he did it to. And I told her I wasn't gonna hide, who I am. It was no shame that he did what he did. I said, your husband's a rapist. I said, and he did do it. She said, well, I'm not gonna leave him. I said, well, that's you. You stay with him. But that's what he did. That's why one of the things about the group You're Not Alone Voices, I let them know that you have to forgive. The key thing is forgiveness, and forgiveness is for you. It's not for them.
Yeah.
So we all grew up in the same town. Both guys that raped me, and so I already forgave them, and that's why I'm able to smile and people see me and not know what I went through because the burdens have been lifted off me. I've released all that. So when you see them and you see me, I say all that to say this. When you forgive the person who harmed you, who hurt you, when you look at them, you can see that burden weighing on them. You can see the stress on their face.
Yeah.
You can see how it eats at them.
Yeah.
The guilt. everything, the shame. So they're stressing. They can't look me in the face. One of them, he calls himself a bishop now. So I go to funerals and I see him. He's either giving the scripture or giving the word, but he can't look me in the face.
Yeah.
And I want to walk up to him and tell him I forgive him, but he always takes off.
Yeah.
The other one, I ran into him in the corner store. He stood back at least 10 feet and dropped his head. But I forgive you. I forgive you.
This is tough. This is hard.
Yes. Even the one that molested me, I left him a message in his inbox, his messenger on Facebook. I let him know that I'm giving you back the baggage that you gave me that caused me to make all the wrong decisions. Because had he not molested me, there's no telling what kind of woman that I would be, without all that promiscuity that he placed inside of me. Even though all that made me what I am still today, because I'm not broken. I'm not broken. I'm a strong woman. I'm a strong woman of God. Because all that, Fantasia had a song. She had a song, I Am Who I Am Today. Because I am who I am today. Because God used my mistakes. He used my mistakes.
Yeah.
He used my mistakes. Oh, it's risky. But anyway, if you find that song on YouTube, you'll know my mistakes made me who I am today.
For today.
Yes. So I'm proud to be the woman that I am because I'm not hiding behind shame. I'm not hiding behind guilt. But forgiveness is key.
Forgiveness is
You
key.
have to forgive. So I forgive them. I forgive them. I'm no longer bound to that nastiness, to that filth. I'm not bound to that no more.
So 26. Okay. Is there more to take?
Yes. I got married.
Nice.
I got married. No, I shouldn't have.
No.
I shouldn't have. I wish I would have ran because he was abusive.
Again.
Yes, he was violently abusive. He was the worst abuser that I have ever came across.
On top of everything
Um,
that you already went through.
yes, it was worse. It was hell. It was
Jesus.
hell. And he was somebody that I grew up with. He was somebody that I grew up with when I never thought that he was that man. Because he was quiet. I did see a glimpse of his crazy side, you know, growing up when we went out and partied, but didn't know that he had all that up in there. I had this thing where I said, I started telling people, because I used to do hair, I started telling people, do background checks on your men. Do background checks. So I wish I would have done a background check on him because
Always do
his
background
was
checks,
like
man.
this thick. His was this thick. So if you had battery on a Leo, which is law enforcement officers, that means you don't have no respect or no boundaries to hit anyone. But I didn't know he had that. And he would beat me in my sleep. I would be asleep and he would be telling me to shut up. How can I talk and I'm asleep? So um the abuse was violent. I'm talking about the biting, the hitting. Yeah, he bit me a lot.
So around that time, what
And
age were you then?
27. And I had 3 kids. I never told them because it's like violence goes in stages. You have the jumping, you have the yelling, the cursing, all of this, the slapping. So it's like I could tell when it was coming. So I would take my kids and run them across the street to my mother's house. Because where we
Yeah.
lived at, my mom was the landlord. She was a rent lady.
Okay.
So I would take my kids and run them across the street to my mother's house. So they didn't see it. Um, so nobody knew, except for I told one relative He didn't do anything because he said he didn't see any scars. I didn't have any busted lips or noses. My eyes was okay. And I'm like, okay, because I thought I did good fighting him off, but come to find out that was the technique of the beating because he didn't want nobody to know that he was beating on me.
Exactly. He's been doing that. He knows how to do
Yes,
it.
he was a narcissist. So it's like it's your word against mine. And that's what it was. So once I told this relative, I didn't tell nobody else. So I figured everybody's gonna think I'm a joke.
Yeah.
So I just kept it to myself, thus bringing about the old folks term, what happens in this house stays in this house. So I figured then if I love him enough, he'll stop. So I tried to do everything with him. I didn't have to do the cooking. He did all the cooking because he chose to do the
Yeah.
cooking.
I always say that. I always say that. Do not ever allow somebody to put hands on you
Mm-hmm.
because abuse, physical abuse, is never a sign of love. Don't
Nope.
ever, you know, mistake that. Like you don't ever want to find yourself in a situation where someone is constantly abusing you physically to think, oh, I think the reason why he's doing that is because he loves me too much. There's no such thing.
I know, and I figured that was the case. But the Holy Spirit started speaking to me and telling me to get out of it, to get out of it. And he just kept giving me sign after sign after sign. And it wasn't until one night he beat me so bad till he strangled me. And I physically felt my soul leaving my body. So I looked in his eyes and I said in my mind, I said, Lord, I'm going to look at him. So until every time he closed his eyes, he's going to see my face. My arms dropped. I quit fighting. And when I did that, he took his arms from around my neck. And I could see just nothing but black inside his eyes. And he just dragged me by my weave and he drug me up the stairs, but he ripped my dress all the way down to my underwear. And I could hear my neighbors, hearing me screaming. No one called the police. Um, I went to his mom's house. Apparently, she knew that he liked to beat women, but nobody helped me. Nobody helped me. What finally did it was I had to leave town. I had to leave the city. I packed up everything. I sold everything. I gave him half the money. I kept half. I did it in front of him so he didn't think I was, you know, being deceitful. And I packed up things that belonged to me and my kids, put them in storage. And then I moved. I left town, filed for divorce, and I left. And I never looked back, not knowing that I was suffering from PTSD. Not knowing, I didn't find that out until years later that that's what that was. I just know that I would go hysterical and panic and hyperventilate and just go bananas. Didn't know what it was. Every time I would go around, it's like I felt like I was gonna pee on myself, just start shaking, vision would go blurry, not knowing that that's what I was going through. So that's why I can't go back. I treated the city where I live it's in the city where I moved from, they're literally 15 minutes apart. But I treated it as if it was out of town. Family members would die, and I would sit here and just doubt myself. Do I want to go back or do I want to stay? Should I go? Should I stay? But I didn't go. And if I did go, it was like I would hurry up and come back home
Yeah.
because I didn't want him to be nowhere around.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
never knew where he was. And oh God, I don't know if I should say this out loud, but it was the things that he would do to me. Let me say this. Have you ever heard of Jesus. I hope this helps someone. I really do.
Definitely.
Because I'm literally saying this out loud on social media. Um, I used to do a lot of hair, a lot of hair. And I used to hear women say things that you should do if you want to keep a man. If you following me.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard the term don't eat somebody's spaghetti if you're
I've never
have you
heard.
heard that before?
No.
Okay, well I'm gonna say it because somebody out here listening probably has heard it. But they always say a man should never eat a woman's spaghetti if she's on her cycle. Have you ever
Yeah.
heard that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. It's the reason why. Because he's intaking her inside of him, and he'll be able to, if a woman does that, he won't, let me just, it's hard for me to say it, so I'm trying to just pussyfoot around it, but let me just say it. They used to tell, the ladies used to say, if you want to keep a man, put a little bit of your in a man in the spaghetti, and that man ain't gonna go nowhere. But what they didn't tell you was when you got ready for that man to go, he ain't going no damn well. I never did that. But if he eating it out the pot, straight out the pot, he ain't going no damn well.
Yeah.
So if you wonder how he finding you, that's how he finding you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was the abuse I went through, because he would bite me to get it that way. So that was the abuse I went through. And I could literally hear him crunching my flesh when he would bite me to get it. So I had to wear constantly, I used to love to wear shorts, but I had to wear long skirts to keep people from seeing the bite marks that he would put on me. So I would leave and go places, and then I would wonder, how the hell did he find me here? Duh. That's how he tracking you.
Yeah.
So he was like a natural bloodhound. So that's why I had to leave that city to come to another one. There was nowhere I could go in my city. I couldn't date nobody in that city, because if I went somewhere, people would be like, he's out here hiding under the tree. And he would literally be out there snorting powder under the tree because he had an addiction. So there was nowhere I could go. And that's when I just threw in the towel and I literally left my city. I could go nowhere.
So, what exactly did you do to close that chapter? Like, what went on? Because not only is abusive, but is everywhere that you could ever be at. But and with everything going on, now you've discovered that you got PTSD.
I
What's
I divorced him. I I always went to church, but it was a lot of things I didn't understand. And I didn't gradually understand them until I got older. And then when I moved over here to the city where I am now, that's when I finally grew a closer relationship with God. And that's when I really began to understand all the things that I didn't pay attention to growing up as a child. It it stayed with me in my heart, but I really began to marinate it on it up here. I didn't realize that I was fasting. And fasting is when you take away anything that distracts you.
yeah,
So I took away the TV, I took away family, took away friends, took away social media,
yes,
and I began to meditate on him.
yes.
I began to
And
meditate on his
now
word.
now we are getting to the healing process. That's it.
Yes. And that's when I began to learn how to heal. And I could feel everything just relieving me and coming through. And it felt good. I started working. I started rebuilding my life. And then I met someone new. Met someone new. But what I didn't do, I didn't totally ask God to relieve me of attracting the same men. Didn't ask God for that.
That you see, this is the thing. Healing could literally take an entire lifetime.
Yes.
Everything that you've been through, despite you starting to heal, didn't mean that you were ready or didn't even really get to the phase of knowing exactly what you were supposed to look for in a man. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
you weren't at that part of your healing. And that's the real deal. That's the situation. And a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
think just because they just started the process, that automatically means they're gonna know everything. You're not gonna know everything. That's why you need to continue that process until you get to a point of understanding what to look for and
Mm-hmm.
paying attention to the red flags.
Yep. And I didn't do that. I got married again. Um, it felt so good because this time, for the first time in my life, I was in love.
Good.
I was in love, and he was in love with me. And I always joked around because I said after I divorced my first one, I said the next man I get, he gonna be 3 times his size. So the next time he run up on me, I said he gonna bust him in his suck muscle. So, and he did try to run up on me again, and he did try to fight me again. And so this time I went home and I got my husband. And he didn't hit him or nothing, but it allowed me to everything that I was holding in, it allowed me to release all that I was holding in to put it back on him. And I did, and it felt good. And he didn't bother me no more. But in this marriage, we did everything, oh my gosh, that I wanted to do. I mean, it was romantic. It was he was my best friend. He was my best friend. But the Bible says you're no longer two, you become one.
Yeah.
Did not know that he was battling an addiction. So his demon became my demon. And I hung in there with him. I hung in there with him. Um, to backtrack from the abuse I took from my first one, did not know I was walking around with a blood vessel that was constricted. The doctor said it was kinked like a water hose. And the blood clot went through, and I had a stroke 2 weeks after I got married. 2 weeks after I got married, I had a stroke. Paralyzed on my left side, wound up in a nursing home just 2 weeks after I got married. So this husband had to take that on with me being married to him, his new wife, after being together for almost 2 years. And then we finally get freshly married. Now he got a wife that's paralyzed.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So that was a lot. And I prayed. I prayed a lot. I sang a lot, and I read the 31st Psalms every day. And God slowly began to restore my body back. And in the process, my marriage was very trying with his addiction, because with addictions, when they're under stress, they lean more on that addiction.
Yeah.
So with him, um, I said, okay, I went through sickness because marriage says in sickness and in health. So I honor my marriage by the vows. So I said, okay, his addiction is a sickness. Let me work with him because he worked with me because he stepped in with me being sick. Let me work with him. So I stuck with him through trips to rehab, trips to the detox center, even a trip for possession. But those years drug on and on and on, and it really impacted our marriage to the point where I like to say it was no longer for better for worse. It became for better or for stupid. So I said, okay, you got to step back, Capri, because now he needs to grow and he needs to fall because I was enabling him. So that's when you need to realize in a relationship, what is your part? What role are you playing? Are you helping or are you enabling? And I was enabling him. I wasn't allowing him to get the help that he needed. So I had to withdraw myself in order for him to get the help that he needed. So I did that. And, I filed for divorce, but I'm not going to say that I was totally clean in that marriage because I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it 100. We didn't have two things that match. Never. Sometimes the water will be off, lights be on, water be off. Um, we'll have bread but no meat, meat no bread, ketchup no mustard, Kool-Aid no sugar. So I said, let me go get me a sugar daddy that don't want no sugar. Because again, I'm just going back to what I knew best. So I got me a sugar daddy that ain't want no sugar. He out there doing his addiction. He out there cheating. Let me go get me a sugar daddy that don't want no sugar.
We're playing the petty game.
Right. Because again, I didn't have no good role models in relationships. I was trying to do what I knew to survive.
So
So I had
around
to
that
hold my
time, what age were you?
ooh, 30, 34, 35. Yeah, around that time. So I was doing what I had to do, but and it kept on up until I was about 40 something. Yeah, about 40 something. And after that I finally came clean, told him what I was doing. You know, I would catch him and what he was doing. I called him a lot of times. Um Tupac always said he got his name from a woman and his game from a woman. And please believe that. So I never got caught, but I would catch him. But I will always confess what I did. So I took accountability for my stuff. But we eventually parted ways. And we're still friends today. We're still friends today. And and he has grown from his addiction. So needless to say, he's clean now, but we're still friends. But it just seemed like I just kept encountering narcissists. But let me tell you this, what I did learn, I was in the grocery store one day and this lady, I don't know if she felt my spirit, but she stopped me and she said, baby, she said, I don't know exactly how the conversation got started, but what she told me to do, she said, I kept encountering the same men. She told me, she said, what you need to do is to write a letter to God and forget about it. She said, that's going to break the cycle. She said, it's going to break the spirits. She said, because those spirits keep attracting the same spirits to you. And she said, if you want to stop attracting them same spirits, she said, write a letter to God and forget about it. She said, put it in your Bible, leave it alone. And I did that. And, when I did that, it I could say it helped, but it wasn't until I started reading deeper about soul ties.
Yeah.
And soul ties is what really helped me to break the law of attraction of the same men that I kept attracting. And then I went a step further and started seeking counseling from a pastor. That helped with the healing. And what he told me was when you get molested and raped, he said they deposit a spirit. Jesus, I'm getting chills. Mm. He said they deposit a spirit inside of you. He said, and it leaves a spiritual mark on you. He said, and what that mark does is let the others know how to attack you. And what she was letting me know was to write a letter to break that mark. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all. And that's what I do, is to try to help others in You're Not Alone voices, to help them, to encourage them, to uplift them, to inspire them, to help them break those ties so that they can get to the next level, to get past those things that have harmed them. And the only way they can do it is through prayer and supplication and by way of the Holy Spirit. Because you can't get past that until you get your healing, until you get past, until you forgive and get to the next level. That's the
So
only way to do it.
I'm glad that the story got better because, lady, you went through a lot.
Yes,
You went through a lot.
yes.
I don't think I've ever heard a story like this before. No, like this is sometimes you would hear, oh yeah, I dealt with that when I was little, and I remember the 2 points where everything was. But for you, there's a bookmark. That's why I had to let you speak. I didn't want you to just resume or give me a summary of it. I had to let you speak because not only what you've been through is going to help others understand. If your story is as crazy as this lady, maybe I need to seek help. I need to seek personal healing. I need to start doing other things that are going to help. Your story went from molestation to rape, no, molestation to rape, um, relationship abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, relationship abuse. I mean, it's this is a lot. How are you still standing?
It's nothing but God carrying me. And what I suffered from the stroke was multiple seizures back to back. And one day I was sitting at home. I asked the Holy Spirit to use me as an open vessel. I had forgot all about it. And it wasn't until I ended up in the critical care unit in the hospital. And I was laying there, just had seizures back to back, wetting myself and everything. And he spoke to me. He said, I was hanging off the edge of the bed from the seizure. And he said, excuse me. He whispered, he said, remember what you asked me for? He said, you have to tell your story. Excuse me. He said, tell your story now. And I started telling my story right there from the hospital bed. And from that point on, I couldn't stop. I'm not going to say that it hasn't been rough. It hasn't been depressing at times or discouraging. Because I have some family members, I know that they're going to see this. They're like, why is she saying that? You know, I wish she'll hush. Um, oh, I'm going to run back and tell her mama. Oh, I'm going to run back and tell her daddy. But we have to break this cycle.
We have
We
to.
have to speak. And those things have caused me at times to keep my mouth closed. But I can't do it no more.
You can't.
I can't do it. I can't
I'm,
do it.
I'm glad you basically right now you're still going through the healing process, and shutting your mouth is not going to help it. There are so
No.
many things that you went through, so many things that you've been through. Not saying anything about it is going to help. It's going to hurt you even more. And how are you going
Yeah.
to help other people understand how powerful it is to have a voice if you don't talk about it?
Yes.
So, whew, how you feeling after putting all this out? How you feeling, lady?
I feel good because it was some things I have told you I never said them out loud.
And the world's gonna hear it. That's what's
Yes,
the
the
point.
world is
A
gonna
lot of
hear
people
it.
are gonna watch this video and they're gonna see it. They're gonna hear it.
Yes, they're gonna hear it from Lady Capri. They're gonna hear it.
From the comments that we got, being honest can heal you. The word of God says to confess your sin one to another that may be healed. James 5, verse 16. Going through
Yes,
all this by yourself at just 12 and 13, 13-year-old, Lord have mercy. God was with you. She's still standing by her grace. Like I'm telling you, you went through a lot, and for you to be standing here, allowing others to listen to you, understanding the things that you went through. You know what I mean? multiple molestations, multiple rape, relationship abuse, dealing with people who are addicted, and you still have a smile. You're still trying to heal. You know what I mean?
Yes.
What is it? What is it? And I know we've been on for a while now.
Yes. All I can say is from that moment when I asked God to use me as an open vessel, it is to when we get to heaven, once we leave this vessel, God is going to ask us, what did we do? What did we do to share his word? I know I'm going to be clean when I tell him that I shared his word, that we have to forgive in order to move on, in order to be healed.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to be safe in telling him that I shared the word for someone to protect their children,
Yes.
to know the signs of sexual abuse, molestation, to protect your children, because the children, they're our future. I know I'm going to be able to break the silence of domestic violence. My mind is going to be free and clear. I know I'm a living witness to know that God heals. God heals a wounded and a broken and a contrite heart. I'm proof that God heals, that grace and mercy and favor is real, that his word is true.
Yeah.
So I know that I'm going to share his word. I'm going to share his word as long as he gives me life, breath, grace and mercy and favor. I'm going to do it because that's the only thing that kept me standing. God, he never puts more on us than we can bear. He never puts more on us that we can bear. And when I look at myself, I see someone that has been gracefully broken. I don't see a victim. I don't see a victim. I see someone who is gracefully broken with a purpose.
So to conclude, to whoever watching this who knows somebody who's going through or who been going through the same things that you've been going through, that you went through, what would be the one message that you would feel comfortable telling them when it comes to healing?
When it comes to healing, when it comes to healing, talk to God. Talk to God. Believe that he's there with you. Know first that you are not alone, that he's carrying you. He said he'll never leave you, and he said he'll never forsake you. So just know that when it comes to healing, if you make one step, he'll make two. It's nothing wrong. It's okay not to be okay. Please seek help. Do not be afraid to call for help. And for those of you, if someone comes to you to talk to you about what happened, please listen. Don't doubt them. Don't talk down to them, but extend help to help them. It's okay not to be okay.
Yeah.
And start your healing.
Start your healing.
If you have to write down to start your healing, do it. Journal. Journal your healing. And it's okay not to be okay. And you're not alone.
I know I'm probably gonna be rewatching this multiple times. Just like the last video that we posted. The good thing about each stories like this is that when you think you're gonna find something similar, there's always another reason. to understand that each and every person are going through something different, despite how good they look, despite how you see them on the outside, despite whatever you think they might be going through that are not affecting them physically, mentally, or emotionally. Everybody is going through something. So,
Yes.
so healing is definitely a good thing to do. And I wish that parents would understand their kids from the get-go at a very early age, introduce that healing to them, meditation, therapy, give them that full security where they don't have to be going through a bunch of stuff, especially things that they've went through as parents. You know what I mean? I want parents to really pay attention to things like that. And definitely, most importantly, if you've been through any of the things that she's mentioned in this video, you need to seek, you need to seek professional. You
Seek
need to
professional
start
help.
meditating. You need to start
Yes.
going to therapy. And you need to voice your pain.
Yes.
That
Don't
those
hold
are
it
the important
in
things.
at all. Do not hold it in because it affects you physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, and physically. It physically makes you sick. Do not hold it in at all. It is okay not to be okay. And just know that
Yeah,
you are
that's
not
good.
alone. Get it out. It's okay to cry. It's okay to scream. It is okay to yell, but you have to release it. Release it. Get it out. But please seek professional help. And just know when you release it and you go seek professional help, it is confidential. It is free and you do remain anonymous.
Well, thank you so much. Um, I'm glad that we did not give up on the due to the technical
Me
supports at the
too.
beginning because I don't know if you're feeling like you've unpacked a lot of things, if you're
I
feeling
really
a little bit,
did. I really did.
and that's why I needed you to take your time to drop everything, and I'm glad that you did what you had to do to be here and to provide us with such powerful message with every single explanations that we went through, just to share, awareness to others that are going through the exact same thing. Lady Capri, thank you so very
Okay.
much.
You're
Let the people know
welcome.
where they could find you and
Okay.
if they want to talk to you.
All right. Thank you. Oh, let them know where they can find me.
Yes.
Oh, you can find me at on Facebook, Facebook at Capri Bazell, and you also can find me on Facebook at You're Not Alone Voices. So also on Instagram at Lady Capri.
Nice.
And what I always tell them, I love you all dearly. Mwah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Lady Capri. Have
All
a great
right.
day.
Thank you. Bye
Bye.
bye.